to this open forum discussion organized by the Legal Aid team. Thank you for joining this open forum discussion on the recent changes in the BNS. A special thank to our students from the journalism department and law students who come here to bring unique perspective on the changes that has been made in BNS. I am Janvi Sharma with my co-partner Megha. We will be facilitating this discussion. As we all know, the BNS has recently undergone significant changes. And it's very important to understand the implications of these changes in BNS. To start, I'll provide a brief overview of Section 69 and community services will be covered by Megha. As we all know, earlier we had IPC as our official criminal code, but now we have BNS. It came into effect on 1st of July 2024 after being passed by the Parliament in December 2023. So today, the focus of discussion is Section 69 and community services under BNS. To start with, Section 69 talks about sexual intercourse by deceitful means. It clearly states that if a promise to marry is made without any content to follow it up, and a sexual intercourse has been established on the basis of that false promise, then that man or person can face an imprisonment up to 10 years. Here, deceitful means include false promise to marriage, giving false promise to provide employment or a promotion in job. If on the basis of these three promises, a man entered into a sexual intercourse with a woman, and later on he does not fulfill this promise, then that person can face up to 10 years of imprisonment. And after this section, there are a lot of, this section is actually a debatable section, because there are a lot of activists, lawyers and judges who are saying that this section can be used as a weapon against men, and it can be harmful to the society. So now I am opening the floor for questions, concerns and discussion. So do you think this section can literally be used as a weapon against men, or do you think this section is important for the benefit of our society? Because as law students or as students from any department, ultimately this section is going to affect us. So we have to discuss it. And dialogues are the most important thing to come to any conclusion. So what are your views on that? What are your insights on that? Anybody who...
Beginning with this section undoubtedly and interprets that the promotions and jobs can only be given by men. Because it's not said there that women can also give jobs and promotions on the pretext of sexual intercourse. First of all, why are we even discussing it? If you get a job by sexual intercourse, is it justified? You are justifying it in certain way that it cannot be contradicted. I would say that this section clearly says that women are brainless because they cannot hold their own decisions. They cannot have their bodily autonomy. They do not know if on the promise of marriage, sexual intercourse should be done with the man or not judging the man, because after that he can say that it's not. On the other hand, as you said, it's a weapon against men. Definitely it is, because we created Domestic Violence Act for the protection of women. But so many cases are fake. Similarly, it will be used against men, because the intent to marry is a very debatable question. How are you going to define the intent to marry? For example, if we have seen women accusing men after breakup of rape. So this can be very easily used against them. Then the crime is of 10 years. It's not bailable offense. The status of the men is actually going to be disrupted by this. Secondly, I would like to talk upon what happens if the first instance of sex was forced, then it was promised that you will get a job, and then it was not get. So will you count it in rape, or Section 69 will cover it? Then if job is given after sex, is it right? Many senior lawyers have stated their opinions on this. They have said that it is derogatory for the women, because it's like that women are jumping into bed for promotions, for job. I would like to tell the forum that in India need balance. We want women empowerment, but not at the cost of hindering the progress of men.
Of dignity. If dignity is not there, then what's the purpose of such a living? Anybody who wants to raise?
My name is Trivedi. So we often make fun of number 69, but who think that one day 69 will just turn the table and it will do mockery with all of us. So as Anchika said, that it states that women are ready to jump into beds of men for getting a job or a promotion or whatever it is. And what I want to say is that the most derogatory part of this this section is this job and promotion part, because intent to marry, if we look at it like the women who really need this section, it is a very heinous offense. Like, just think if a man is giving a woman promises to marry and later on he does not marry to him but have a sexual intercourse with him, it does not amount to consent. Being a lawyer, we know what consent is. A consent made in misrepresentation of fact is no consent, and a sexual intercourse without consent is a rape. So we should try it under rape. So this section is itself unconstitutional, because it says that women are like prostitutes for real. They jump into bed of a person for getting a job or a promotion. They are saying that a girl can do anything to get a job, and government is giving defense. That if the employer rejects that I won't give you a job, the government is giving you defense. That you can plead, you can sue that person that he is not giving you a job. What it is very derogatory. I think women should stand together for this. We are here. I don't think this discussion will be fruitful if we don't stand against it. So I think we all should file a PIL against it. Sir from journalism will help us reaching our voice to the Supreme Court and all the big authorities, so that we can do something on it, because it is unconstitutional and it's very derogatory for both men and women.
Should be considered under rape. For rape, there is a separate section 63 of BNS, and it is particularly mentioned all the situations under which an act can be called rape. I don't think so that it is necessary to compare rape and this section 69. Second of all, as Trivedi said, there is no need for discussion. We should straight away jump to PIL. If we don't know what the section is about, if we don't know how it harms the society, first of all, we need to make people aware of this, the harms that it is causing. Without that, you are going to tell people, no, this section is wrong, we are going taking action against it. Without telling people, how are people going to form their own opinions? Forming opinions and then acting upon it, that is democracy. We are telling people that it is up to your discretion. Do you think it is right or do you think it is wrong? Then take an action. So PIL, yes, it is an option, but first there should be discussion at large with public. After that we can take PIL, and those who think it is wrong, PIL should be taken. And there are people who think it is right, that women are going to jump into bed with someone just for jobs. And second of all, what I want to say is that jumping into bed, as you are saying, that it is morally wrong. I don't think so it is written anywhere that it is legally wrong. The thing you said, that the law is granting defense to the women for if they are sleeping with a man for an employment or a promotion, it is morally wrong, yes. Why is there a question of sexual intercourse in the courses of employment or promotion? That is morally wrong. But if it happens, the crime happens, there has to be a remedy for the woman, right? So I think section 69 provides that remedy for women.
Everyone, I am Unpacking from 4th semester. So firstly, I would like to clear some of the points quoted by all the students. Firstly, it's a women-centric section talking about the protection of the women. And second thing, this section is one of the confusing section of a new criminal law. There's no doubt that this section is debatable, but some of the students say that this section is derogatory and it completely against the this section is not according to the laws, and this section is against the equality and it's bias section. And one thing which I want to quote here is, although this section is the terms of this section are not clear, but it doesn't mean such types of cases are not happening in our country, because earlier section 375 and the section 90 of the IPC talks about such types of cases. It talks about the valid consent and the consent under misconception of fact. So it's completely unfair to say that this section is derogatory, because exceptions are always there. So if we say there is an illustration, for example, there is a girl and she went for the job, and the job interviewer asked her to have a physical relation with him, and she is having a consensual relation with that job interviewer, and later he denied. Now in this case, the issue here arises, although the girl is having a consensual relation just for her personal benefits like job employment, but here the girl is also offender, and like if someone is giving sexual favors for his personal benefit, it comes under the bribe. Then how the law can protect the offender? First debatable question is this, and the second question is earlier the section 375 and the section 90 of the IPC talks about two concepts. It talks about the intention of the offender from the very beginning, not to marry the girl but having the physical relation. And it also talks about those cases where the person having the intention to marry the girl from the beginning, but later he denied. It means that it quotes the two cases where the person is having the intention to marry the girl from the beginning and later breach of promise to marry. So we can say that this section is confusing, because firstly the terms of the sections are not clear. Here the term false promise of marriage and other deceitful means is included. False marriage, now it's not clear that false marriage includes only the fake promise of marriage, or it also consider those cases where there is the breach of promise to marry. So that's why this section is confusing, but we can't say that this section is completely against the equality or it's completely derogatory, because such types of cases are always happening in our society. So for the protection of the women, this particular section is highlighted by the government to make such types of crimes more serious. So that's all from my side.
Shubham from journalism department, जहाँ आज हम जो टॉपिक है उस पे बात करते करते मेरे एक चीज बार बार ध्यान में आ रही है कि यू आर ट्राइंग टू से अबाउट कि इट इज यस और नो, जो सबसे बड़ा क्वेश्चन। जहां पे ग्राउंड रिपोर्ट हम देखते हैं 2018 की पुलिस कहती है कि 3 से 4% फॉल्स एलिगेशन लगते हैं, लेकिन जब रियलिटी पे हम जाते हैं डेट के जो एक्यूजेशन की परसेंटेज है that varies from 5% to 95%. That is a big march. अगर आपको आपकी टूथपेस्ट में नमक है या नहीं उसका 63% पता है, पेट्रोल आपको चाहिए 44% पता है, why there is no specific data regarding to this? कहीं ना कहीं हमारी जो गवर्नमेंट के सिस्टम्स है वो भी फेलियर है। दूसरा एक और चीज देखने वाली, जहां आज के टाइम में ओपन रिलेशनशिप, सिचुएशनशिप, नए नए टर्म्स जो आ रहे हैं, वो किसी भी जनरेशन में हो, जेन ज़ी, मिलेनियल्स, जो भी, तो ये जो बेसिक सवाल ये उठ रहा है कि व्हाट इफ दे आर इन ओपन रिलेशनशिप एंड द गर्ल अक्यूज हिम ऑफ रेप। तो ये जो चीजें हैं, ये दो धारणाएं हमें देखकर मुझे लगता है चलना चाहिए कि इसमें ग्राउंड ज्यूरिसडिक्शन का क्या रोल है, हमारी ये प्रजा प्रणाली बोलते हैं आप, और ये पुलिस, इसमें मीडिया का क्या रोल है एज ए फोर्थ पिलर। मीडिया की चीज को किस तरह से दिखाती है उसका भी उतना ही इम्पोर्टेंट रोल रहता है। आपका क्या कहना है इस बारे में?
काफी चल रहा है, तो मेरे को लगता है आधे से ज्यादा डिसीजंस तो मीडिया ही बता रही है। बायसनेस इज देयर, तो पहली बात तो ये कि मीडिया को अनबायस्ड रहना चाहिए, उनको दोनों पक्ष दिखाने चाहिए, उनको पहले ही डिसीजन पे नहीं आना चाहिए कि एक पार्टी रॉन्ग है दूसरी राइट है। सेकेंड ऑफ ऑल, आपने बात की कि ये सेक्शन येस और नो का है या नहीं है, और डाटा देंगे। डाटा अभी सेक्शन 69 BNS अभी 1 जुलाई से इम्प्लीमेंट होना स्टार्ट हुआ है, तो दिस कैन बी अ सजेशन टू द गवर्नमेंट एजेंसीज कि आप एक डाटा बनाएं कि कितने केसेस ट्रू है, कितने केसेस फॉल्स हैं। तो ये है, और ये कि मीडिया को अनबायस्ड रहना चाहिए। बायस मीडिया आजकल हम बहुत देखते हैं कि गोदी मीडिया है या कुछ ऐसा है, मीडिया ट्रायल्स बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं। हमने सुशांत सिंह के केस में देखा था,
एक्ट्रेस को पहले ही मीडिया ने ठहरा दिया था। तो ऐसा सब बहुत कुछ होता है। और आपने लिव इन रिलेशनशिप्स की बात की, ये जो सेक्शन 69 है ये काफ़ी एम्बिगुअस लग रहा है इस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे कि हमें हम बीच में हम एक्सट्रीम्स पे नहीं जा रहे हैं, ना बिल्कुल एक्सट्रीम मेन की तरफ जा रहे हैं, ना एक्सट्रीम वुमेन की तरफ जा रहे हैं कि ये क्या किसके राइट्स, ये एक एम्पावरिंग सेक्शन है या फिर ये डेरोगेटरी सेक्शन है। तो ये there are of course two sides of this section. This is a very controversial section, but I would say that it is important to have gender neutral laws rather than laws that promote gender equality in the country. Of course, as Triveni said, it is very derogatory to say that women jump into beds for jobs and employment, and as Anshika said as well, that women can themselves be the job providers. So this section is very derogatory in that terms, and I would also say that as our constitution provides fundamental rights and directive principles of state's policy, they have talked about the importance of the chances to have adequate means of livelihood and employment equality in employment opportunities. So this section is very derogatory in that terms, but as Neha said, it is empowering as well because these kind of cases do take place in our country. So in that terms, it is important to have this section. We have to protect our women as well, as we have seen the recent Kolkata rape case. Women are not even safe at the workplace. And she was a doctor, and what happened to her? She was performing her duty, and what really happened? It is such a heinous offence. So women are not safe at workplace. It's important to have such a section as well.
And what the stats say? We do not. I was searching for statistics on false marriages, and I couldn't find one. So it's very important that we should know that in literacy rate, women are 20% behind men. So this section is for women who actually need it, but the burdens of the section should be such that it should not be derogatory. Like you said, it is helping women. Of course, it will help women, but saying the words of the section, do not interpret it as well. Why is it not that if women provide jobs and promotions to men, on the false promise, it should also be stated in there? It is not. As Neha has highlighted the positive points, one of the positive points is that in case of interfaith marriages, it will be covered in section 69 if the person is hiding his identity. So I think this is something which is good about the section. And there was a recent case in which the Supreme Court justified the intent to marry. The case was that the woman was a divorcee, she had a child, and she fell in love with a man, and they both rented a house and they started living together. But after that, the man refused to marry. So now this case is older, so this was tried in IPC 375, read with section 19. So the man said that I had the intent to marry, that's why I rented a house for both of us to live. So I had the intent, but later on I came to know that she had a child, so my intent changed. The Supreme Court said that the intent to rent a house is not for the intention of marriage, it is for the intention of availability of women for physical pleasure. So you cannot say that. As well, the woman said that he already knew, and everybody knew that we three, the woman, her child, and the man were living in the same house. So this was decided that if you are renting a house, that's not the intention to marry. So intent to marry is a very important thing in this section, which is going to be defined by the cases that are going to come ahead.
Everyone discussed about this section already a lot, that this section is very ambiguous in many ways, and intent to marry is not defined. Yes, actually intent to marry is not defined, and that should be an amendment made by the lawmaking bodies in this section. And another point I would like to bring to everyone's notice is that there is a concept in India that a person is innocent till proven guilty. So, but according to this section, if you notice that, like, if a woman charges someone with this section, if a woman charges a man with this section, the man would be on the very first instance would be presumed guilty. And if you think practically about it, the burden of proof would be on the man. The burden of proof would be on the accused person to prove that he is innocent, not on the side that who is accusing charges to him. So that does not fit very well with the concept of justice that is prevailing in India.
Hello, my name is Electric. तो मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि जो वुमेन्स हैं ये कोई डिनाई नहीं कर सकता कि उनके साथ गलत नहीं हुआ है पास्ट में, और उन चीजों को ठीक करने के लिए भी ये लॉज लाए गए हैं। पर एक चीज ये देखी जाए कि जब ये रोल रिवर्सल होंगे इन चीजों के, तो इसका क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा, मैन के पास क्या मतलब साधन होंगे कि वो अपनी बात रख पाएगा आगे। आज का टाइम ऐसा है कि अगर आप कुछ रिपोर्ट्स देखें तो सुसाइडल इंडेक्स में देखो तो मैन सबसे ज्यादा सुसाइड कर रहे हैं, वहां पे कहाँ हो रही है बात इस चीज की बात। और रही बात ये कि जैसा कि मैम ने बोला था कि ये जो जॉब के लिए जो भी इंटरकोर्स हो रहा है ये एज अ ब्राइब है, क्योंकि ब्राइब देने वाला भी गलत है और जो उस ले रहा है वो तो है ही गलत है। तो मेरा इतना ही सही है कि अगर लॉज बन रहे हैं इन सब चीजों पे तो दोनों पक्षों को देखा जाए, क्योंकि ऐसा तो है नहीं कि खाली वुमेन की डिग्निटी है, मैन की भी है डिग्निटी, वो भी सोशल दुनिया में रह रहे हैं, तो उनका भी रहना सहना होता है बाहर के लोगों के साथ, तो उनका भी इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है उनकी लाइफ पे। ऐसा नहीं है कि वुमेन्स को ही खाली इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है, यहाँ की खाली मेंस को इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है। तो इक्वली चीज होनी चाहिए। अगर इक्वल ला रहे हैं सबको हम, तो इक्वलिटी की बात कर रहे हैं तो सही में इक्वलिटी दिखाई जाए, यहाँ तो बायसनेस नहीं ना दिखाई जाए किसी चीज को लेके। मैं मान रहा हूँ पैट्रियार्की में बायसनेस दिखाई दिखती है हमको भी, पर इस लॉ में भी कहीं ना कहीं मेल्स फीमेल्स के लिए बायसनेस का कहीं ना कहीं प्रभाव दिख रहा है हम सबको।
उन्होंने कहा था कि ये जो फॉल्स मैरिजेस होती हैं, अगर एक मैन बहुत वादा कर रहा है किसी लड़की को कि मैं तुमसे शादी करूंगा और मैं तुम्हारे ही रिलीजन से बिलोंग करता हूँ या तुम्हारी कास्ट है, क्योंकि इंटरकास्ट मैरिजेस होना मुश्किल ही है, मतलब इंटरफेथ मैरिजेस। तो अगर कोई ये पॉइंट रख के शादी कर रहा है और शादी होने के बाद देन वो जो औरत है शी कैन फाइल पिटीशन कि इसने मुझे इस बेसिस पे कंसील किया, इसने फैक्ट्स आइडेंटिटी छुपाई कि मैं तुम्हारे रिलीजन से बिलोंग करता हूँ या कास्ट से बिलोंग करता हूँ, तो इस बेसिस पे इस सेक्शन को भी ऐड ऑन किया गया था। ऐसा ही नहीं है कि बिल्कुल ही हमारे एमपीज ने आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स जाके जस्ट ऐड ऑन कर दिया, चलो भाई बन जाए डिबेटेबल इशू करते हैं, ऐसा भी नहीं है, उनका भी पर्सपेक्टिव था पीछे। तो हमें ये भी समझने की जरूरत है। एट द एंड ऑफ द डे वी आर डेमोक्रेसी, गवर्नमेंट हमारे लिए ही बनी है, हमारे वेलफेयर के लिए, तो वो ऐसी चीजें क्यों करेगी। लार्जेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी वे इन द वर्ल्ड, 5 साल में इनको चलाना है, नेक्स्ट 5 years हम उनको हिला भी सकते हैं, तो उनके भी पर्सपेक्टिव को आई थिंक हमें समझने की बहुत जरूरत है।
और मैसेजेस, so one call, one text can destroy a man easily. This is what I want to say, because you're not going to record all the messages, all the calls. Sometimes the intention can be to marry, but afterwards it changes according to the situation, but men can still be accused of the section.
जैसे ध्वनि is saying that it should be made, this section should be made gender neutral. But the thing is that the law is always inspired from the practical consideration. Can you imagine even that a woman is promising in the false pretext of marriage? No, this is not the practical situation that a woman will do a false promise to marry to a man. Employment और promotion की हमने बात की, नेहा ने बताया कि there are some gaps in this section, and one gap that I would like to raise is that अगर एक false promise करना चाहता है employment से related और promotion से related, अगर एक promise करना चाहता है employment और promotion से related और sexual intercourse further happens, and then that woman is employed and then she is fired on another day, तो वो कहाँ जाएगी, वो वुमेन कौन से सेक्शन में अप्लाई करेगी। तो इस ये सेक्शन में कुछ गैप्स हैं, एंड दिस इज वन ऑफ द गैप। एंड ऑल्सो एज दिस सेक्शन इवन सेज दैट फॉल्स प्रॉमिस से रिलेटेड है प्रमोशन एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट, तो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ जॉब कल्चर विल इट प्रमोट कि जो एम्प्लॉयर्स है वो हमेशा सेक्सुअल फेवर्स मांगेंगे बिफोर गिविंग एम्प्लॉयमेंट, तो जॉब कल्चर इससे थोड़ा हमारा खराब हो जाएगा।